Hi everyone, welcome back. The first thing I want to do in this unit is introduce you to the research paper. So some college courses will require you to do a research paper where you actually have to go out and do something. Others will assign a research paper where you're just sort of summarizing other sources. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you view it, I am a class that requires actual research. So the research paper, when you include drafts and things, ends up being worth about 25% of your total grade in the class. So it's a really big deal. And research is something that I take seriously. I'm a researcher. It's what I do. It's my day job. It's my side job. It's my job. And so I have really high expectations for this paper, and I want you to take it seriously too, which is why I start bringing it up really early in the session, and then I'm just going to keep talking about it until you're really sick of hearing about it. But the reason is that it requires a significant amount of time and effort, and I want you to be able to have that time to work through it. So in this folder, you'll notice there's research paper resources. Those are also available over here under course resources at any time. If this folder closes, they're still available over here. But this will walk you through in an excruciating amount of detail everything that I'm looking for. So I give you the rubric for how it's being graded. I give you a research paper guide on what your paper should look like. There's APA guidelines. There's instructions for both the draft and the final draft. So take a minute. There's nothing necessarily due at this point, but take a minute to start looking through these so you're aware of what the expectations are before we get started too much. So in this unit, we talk about, in your discussion board, we talk about offensive language, and I ask you to identify out of a list of terms which ones you think are offensive and which ones you think aren't. And a lot of times I get students that question this in terms of why are we talking about language in a nonverbal communication class? And the reason is that language is a trigger for us, like specifically certain words can trigger physiological responses within us. And when we have a physiological response, our interaction, our behavior, our nonverbal behavior changes. So it's important to be aware of what your own triggers are and then just to think about where we get this. So why is something offensive to me that isn't offensive to you? Like what part of socialization does that? Where do we learn what's appropriate or inappropriate? Things like that I just want you to start thinking about. In your journal in this unit, we're going to have you pick a specific relationship that you want to focus on. So maybe it's with a kid, maybe it's with your parents, maybe it's with a sibling or a significant other or someone at work, but just something that you feel like could benefit from what you're learning in this class, and you could really maybe apply some of these elements to that. When I go down here, I get a lot of questions about APA. Like, why do we have to do it in APA? I'm never going to use APA ever again. And maybe, maybe you don't write your grocery lists in APA like some of us do. But unfortunately, plagiarism is a problem, and it's a real problem for universities, and it's on the rise here as well. And making sure that you're citing is one way to really protect yourself against any concern over plagiarism. So be very upfront, be, totally transparent about where you're getting the information, what you're quoting, what you're paraphrasing, etc. But that's why you have to use APA. So sorry, but also not sorry. Okay. And then in your activity report, I ask you to violate a norm. And in this, it's interesting because we do things every single day without thinking about them. We just do them because we've grown up doing them. We know that that's what we're supposed to do. So we put on deodorant because we smell bad without it. We walk into an elevator and take, the opposite side of the little box in which the other person is. We will shift our bodies if someone sits down next to us at a movie theater, things like that. Um, and we learn this behavior, but we don't think about it. And so I want everyone to start thinking about it. So in your activity report, you're going to violate some norm. Um, don't do anything crazy, like don't get arrested, don't get dumped, don't get punched in the face, like don't do anything dangerous. But I really want you to examine the way that you behave and the way that you interact with the world around you. Like that's the point of this class, is to get you to think about the things that you do without thinking. So, like I said, be careful, exercise caution, but have fun with this, and I will be in touch soon.